What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Talos of Tech live on Twitch. The wait is almost over. We've been talking about iPhone 12 for over a year now. I think the leaks for it initially started in September of 2019, and the wait is almost over because my iPhone 12 Pro has officially shipped. Thank goodness. I was concerned a little bit for a while there because it was like Wednesday yesterday and it still had not shipped yet. And I was like, how is this thing going to get here on Friday? Turns out, no reason to panic. Apple does what they always do and typically waits the day before delivery day and then ships it with, expedited, fast next day shipping. So most likely I'll be getting it tomorrow. I don't have a timeline. Where I live, it's kind of rural, and you're not able to get really a very accurate window of when to expect it. So they're basically like sometime between 12:01 in the morning and 11:59 p.m. you will get your box. So I'm really excited. Sadly, we did not get a lot of the things we were hoping to get, whether it be smaller notch, 120 hertz, USB-C. Either way, I think it looks great. I'm excited to see the bezels and feel the edges of the phone compared to my current 11 Pro Max. I might be the first YouTuber that's just getting the 12 Pro, and I'm not going to compare it alongside to the regular 12, and just going to do a side-by-side with my 11 Pro Max. Those are all my iPhones, and I guess my wife has the SE. But I'm excited to see Pacific Blue in person, that color, how it feels in the hand. I'll mess around with LiDAR a little bit. Ooh, and the HDR video stuff. I'm very, very interested to try as well. I want to see, from what I'm reading and what I'm hearing in reviews, is that the HDR video is kind of like, yeah, you can see it on the iPhone screen, but as soon as you try to share it to another device, it has a hard time viewing it because Apple somehow made their own custom proprietary HDR format, which either way, I'm excited to view it on an HDR enabled screen. Thankfully, it looks like iMovie was just updated to support HDR video, which is exciting. Brandon and Mason, thank you for the Twitch Prime. Hello, how are you? I'm doing good. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to trying out the 12 Pro myself because I got to admit, like, I'm not on the elite special Apple preferred YouTuber list that allows me to get iPhones early, but every year when the iPhones get to the YouTubers early, it makes me really, really want to try it out myself because everyone's talking about it, and MagSafe is still sitting at my desk without a MagSafe compatible phone to plug into, and I'm just like, I want to try all this new stuff. And like watching everybody else, jealousy, that's the term. Yes, jealousy is what's sitting in right now. I'm just like, let me try. Especially after you've pre-ordered and paid for it and you've been covering it. I feel like I've probably covered iPhone 12 more diligently than any of these YouTubers who actually got the iPhone 12 early. I mean, they may have done one or two videos on the leaks, but I mean, I was doing iPhone 12 videos maybe once or twice a week for like a year. So I don't know. I don't mean to say like I put the time and effort into making the iPhone 12 because that's not the case, but I do feel like very interested and very attached to so many of the design changes and so much of the development that went into it because we would follow every detail of this phone so closely for so long that it's just relieving to finally hold it and use it yourself. So yeah, it would be cool if Apple sent me stuff early, but I get why they don't. I see a lot of people on Twitter like, why don't they send it to me? Why don't they send it to this person or this person or this person? Honestly, I kind of get it because there are so many YouTubers that get sent the iPhone and they all drop their videos at the exact same time. And it's kind of overwhelming. It's a little bit overkill, which I'm not a fan of. Like, I don't want to see 20 videos of the exact same topic with the exact same colors and everyone saying the exact same thing. So yeah, if they sent it to more people, it would just get even more overwhelming and we would just be drowned out. So having some people get them on Tuesday and some people get them on Friday, I think it's fine. I don't think it's that big a deal. No, I did not order a MagSafe wallet, and that was before Marquez did his video on the MagSafe wallet not being very secure. $60 for that. And also, it doesn't help that it can only hold like 3 cards. My wallet holds definitely more than 3. I would like it to hold more than 3 cards. So $60 on something that small. And now it looks like it's not even that fixed on the back of the iPhone, so that's okay. If another company makes one, maybe that's more secure or could maybe hold some more cards, I'd be much more interested. I am Grant Hardy. Thank you for the Twitch Prime. I hate that my 12 Pro ships a week later than other people. What? Why is that? Did you not refresh the morning of, Grant Hardy? Were you late a little bit or what? What did you do? CRB343 says, is there actually a size difference between 12 and 12 Pro? No. MQBHD's video seems to indicate there is a size difference. I don't know what part of the MQBHD video you watch, but no, there's a weight difference because one is steel and one is aluminum, and one has telephoto and LiDAR, but no, they share the exact same dimensions, and they can share accessories like cases. Cases that fit on the 12 also fit on the 12 Pro. So pretty much exactly the same size. Cyberplays, thank you for the tier 1 sub for 18 months. Holy cow, that's a long time. Did you see the video where I checked my iPhone 7 out the window? No, I didn't, but why would you do that? That's a terrible idea. Don't do that. Oh, man. You should chuck it into someone's hands if you're willing to throw an iPhone out the window. I bet there's at least someone with an older iPhone than that in your life. Just hand it to them. Don't hand it to the sidewalk. Sidewalk doesn't need it. Scott will be picking up his purse in person at the Apple Store. It was either that or wait until November 8th for it to ship by the time the website loaded for him. Interesting. Is Scott also going to continue referring to himself in the third person? Is this a new standard for Scott? Well, congratulations. I hope you're able to be socially distant. I was already hearing about lines forming outside of Apple stores, which I was concerned about. I was worried. I was like, yep, this is why I thought Apple should just not do in-store pickup this year, but I guess they decided to do it anyway. I don't really understand why, because every year this happens, whether you pre-order one or not, there's always going to be a line outside the Apple store. And those lines, it's going to be very, very hard to enforce the social distant guidances that a lot of places and cities have in place. So I hate to say it, but I feel like a lot of people tomorrow are probably going to get COVID because they're out in lines outside of iPhones. So that's why I'm not doing it. I had the option to when the Apple Store app finally loaded. It did say that my nearest Apple Store would have them in stock and I could pick them up, but I don't want to chance it. And it's honestly not much faster also because it's not very close to me. I have to make a bit of a drive to get to my nearest Apple Store. And every year I've done that, I usually end up getting home around noon because I got to, drive there, get in line, get my iPhone, and then drive back. And by the time I get back, it's about when the mail gets here anyway. So I don't really save much time in the first place. Do you think fast charging through Lightning is more or less healthy to the phone than wireless charging through MagSafe? Personally, I don't think it'll make a huge difference, to be honest. I'm no expert on the subject, but I personally think MagSafe might be a little bit healthier because one thing I've noticed is that when you wirelessly charge, your phone will get hot, but this is just a theory of mine. I believe a lot of that heat is on the outside of your phone, not on the battery. So basically when you're fast wireless charging, you're getting a lot of heat because you're transferring a lot of energy from the charge puck or the charge pad to the device, which heats up kind of the exterior glass and then charges the battery on the inside. Whereas fast charging via the Lightning port is heating up the battery, so it's heating up from the inside and some of that heat is escaping on the outside. So that's just a dumb theory an idiot on the internet has, so don't believe what I have to say. That's just my theory because I noticed that wireless charging can sometimes warm up the phone, not like dangerously hot, but it can warm it up. And I did wireless charging for a year and had very, very solid battery health after the fact. Whereas when I did a lot of fast charging through Lightning, it also got hot, but battery health deteriorated much, much faster. So that's just my theory. Cooper Bomb 112004. Thank you for the Twitch Prime sub for 16 months. Holy cow, you guys are committed. Thank you. Appreciate you. 100 Bits from Very Complex says, I would pick my iPhone up at the Verizon store since there's not as many people as the Apple store. But then it's the Verizon store. I don't know. There'd probably still be a line, to be honest with you. Not tomorrow. I live in the middle of nowhere. My Pro Max case just came in the mail. Your boy already prepared. That's good. You can kind of get a feel for it now. You can try out the case, see how it feels. Yi Hirasawa subscribed with a tier 1 sub for 25 months. Holy cow. Has anyone beat that yet? That's amazing. Thank you very much. iPhone 12 mini gives me a kind of nostalgic feeling. Me too. I'm really excited for it. You know, I'm pumped for the 12 Pro, but I'm almost definitely not keeping that. Not almost definitely. I'm definitely not keeping that one. If I do decide, I don't think this is going to happen, but if I do decide that the 6-inch screen is just perfect and I want to go with the 6.1-inch iPhone, I will absolutely get the 12, not the 12 Pro. Just not worth the extra money to me. But Yahavraz3, thank you for the Twitch Prime for 5 months. What decides when you do a YouTube stream or Twitch? So Twitch is better for something like this, like the random Q&As and just talking about broad subjects and lots of different things. And Twitch is better for live streaming in general, which is why I will mostly do live streaming on Twitch. Only time I do a stream on YouTube is a special occasion. So like tomorrow, I'm most likely going to do a YouTube stream for the unboxing of the iPhone 12. That's kind of rare. You don't unbox the new iPhone all the time. Whereas these Twitch streams, I try to do 2 or 3 a week because it's just to interact with you guys and just to chat with the chat, obviously, to keep up and see what most people are asking about and kind of spitball ideas off of people. Whereas YouTube streams, I don't try to do multiple a week. If anything, yeah, YouTube does pull in way more viewers, but they're dumb. Have you noticed that? Also, YouTube algorithm has some weird behaviors when you do a lot of live streaming because they'll notice that you have a much smaller percentage of your content being viewed. So if someone tunes into a live stream for 10 minutes and leaves and the live stream's an hour long, then they're like, ooh, this channel is not very good at keeping people interested or invested because they're only watching, 1/6. So, less than 20% of the content. So then they don't recommend you in the algorithm as often. Not that I care that much. It's just I personally think Twitch is much better for live streaming. First of all, there's no algorithm punishments. There's Twitch Prime, which is a free way for people to support me. Again, if you have Amazon Prime or not, doesn't you do need Amazon Prime to use Twitch Prime, but the price of Prime does not change, and Amazon Prime is a very, very common subscription out there. So I figure, hey, if lots of people have it and at no additional charge can support me, that's great. YouTube does not have that, sadly. I wish they did. But the bit system is a lot more upfront. So when Very Complex donates 100 bits, I get $1. 1 bit equals a penny. Whereas on YouTube, they're not as upfront about that. So if someone super chats $10, then I only get like $6.66, which YouTube does not make very clear. They get 30% of every super chat. Twitch gets a cut of bit sales, but it's when you buy the bits, not when you donate them, which in my opinion is much more honest and upfront because, when you're donating to a creator, 1 bit equals 1 penny. So 100 bits is $1, 1,000 bits is $10. So there's more honesty there. And when you buy 1,000 bits and it costs $12, it's very upfront. It's like, okay, so your Twitch is getting $2 out of that cut. So I just think Twitch overall is better for live streaming. But YouTube, it's fun to do streams on occasion, but it's definitely not built for that. YouTube is very much built and optimized for the basic 8 to 10 minute video that's short and concise and can hold people's interest. So, yeah, that's why we do Twitch for most of the streaming. Yeah, Twitch was, from the beginning, built for live streaming. That's true. Gold Pro Max got me acting different. Yeah, did you guys read that report that the Gold Pro Max is used with some kind of different material? I saw this YouTube channel this morning that got the gold unboxing. It looks pretty dope, I'll admit. Normally, I'm not that big a fan of the gold. I'm not thinking about getting it, but still, I will admit, gold, I think, got an improvement. Red, however, was a downgrade. I think the product red iPhone 12 looks much, much worse. And before, I was planning on getting the 12 mini in product red to match my watch, but after seeing the reviews now, I don't think I want to get red anymore because I've seen so many finishes and colors and angles of the 12 mini with really, really, salmon-looking weird red, and I ain't about that salmon pink. I don't want product pink. I want product red, and the colors do not look good. So I think I'll probably just get the black 12 mini because I was kind of interested in the jet black iPhone 7 when I got it, and the new black on the 12 mini, black is the new black, is it looks really really dark, which I kind of like, and it looks very classy. So I'm interested in trying that. I think for the Pro Max I might end up getting graphite, just because Pacific Blue, I don't know, it's just a little too muted for my liking, and I've had silver for 2 years now, so 10s Max was silver, and my 11 Pro Max was silver, so I'm kind of done with it. You know, it looks nice and classy. Don't really have anything wrong with silver, but when I get a new iPhone, I want it to be very obviously new looking, so graphite, you know, I haven't had a space gray phone since the 10, which was 3 years ago, and gold looks great, but not really my thing. It looks too much like jewelry. Pacific Blue, I don't know. Maybe I'll try it. Maybe I'll end up liking it and want to get that, but I don't think I will. 100 bits from Cyberplays. Thanks for the bits. Should I shoot the iPhone? No, don't shoot the iPhone. If you don't want that iPhone, give it to someone. Not me, but just give it to someone in your life who doesn't have a phone like that. Save it as a great Christmas or birthday present for a younger cousin, younger sibling or something. I'm not in favor of anyone shooting anybody's phone. 89 bits from Very Complex 2021, introducing the iPhone 13 in product pink with aluminum. What is that? Aluminum? Yeah, I'm not about that. I hope Apple can see the criticism of the product red 12 and realize they should go back. iPhone 10R red was probably the best. I kind of like the iPhone 11 red, but it was a little bit lighter. So I prefer the very, very dark candy red, which this year it was not. Some people like it, but not for me. What do you think of the iPhone 12 blue? Yeah, that one I actually like the color a bit more than the website. The real life color looks better than the website, in my opinion, but I don't see a lot of people agreeing because obviously everyone on the website saw the darkish blue and went, ooh, I really like that. And now they're seeing the real blue and they're like, oh, that's really saturated. It's a lot more vibrant blue than I was expecting, but I'm kind of a fan of that. So I don't think I'll get the blue one just because I don't really like off colors like that change depending on the lighting. But either way, looks pretty cool. I like it. Red iPhones are certainly the 10R is the best, and then second is 11, and then below that is the 12. Isn't the product... What color red does the SE match up with the best? The iPhone SE comes in red, doesn't it? Is that one more like the 11 or more like the 10R? Because the red SE looked really good, in my opinion. Audio Technica, thank you for the Twitch Prime sub for 3 months. That's commitment, thank you. Brits be like, oi, it's aluminium in it. I can make that joke because I have British heritage. On my mother's side, we came from the Brits a bit. On my dad's side, I'm more Swedish, but people are saying it matches with the 10R. Let me look at the iPhone compare page really quick. There is actually a little slight color differences on the compare page that you'll notice. Sorry if someone's donating a bunch right now because I can't see the chat. I'm on the compare page. All right, 10R. 10R, no. On the compare page, 10R does not look like the SE. Let me switch it to 11. Yeah, I would say the iPhone SE second generation red is almost exactly the same as the iPhone 11 red, which isn't that bad. I kind of like the iPhone 11 red. It's a little bit lighter, but definitely not horrible. Let's see. Would you like a brown Pro and an orange iPhone for next year? No, not really. I guess orange and brown are neither of my favorite colors. Brown's down there for sure. Brown's very low on my favorite color list. Some people might dig that, but not me. No, thank you. Anyway, I'm excited to see the 12 Pro Max unboxing because it has the same depth as the Pro this year, so that thing will look even thinner. It will look even thinner? What do you mean? It has the same depth. I mean, it is thinner. It's thinner than the 11 Pro Max, but it is heavier. 12 Pro Max is the heaviest iPhone of all time. It's over 8 grams, I think, which is pretty dang heavy. So, you know, we'll see. Hope I might end up preferring that, maybe because, you know, right now, this is the norm. This is the default. This is what I'm used to. This is what I'm comfortable with. But sometimes it does feel kind of chonk in my pocket a little bit. So maybe if I try the 12 mini, I might end up liking it. Do you think the 12 mini battery life is going to hold up okay? I think the 12 mini battery will be enough, but it definitely won't be excellent. Like I would describe the 11 Pro and 11 Pro Max battery as excellent. Like this battery can last me 2 days, and I'm sure for some people the regular 11 Pro could probably last them 2 days or almost 2 days. But 12 mini is going to be way less than that, and from what I read on Apple's website, the 12 mini is still a longer battery life than the SE second gen. And back when I switched to the SE for a little while, I think I used it for like a week or so. It got me through the day. It wasn't dying on me, but it was coming close. It was usually around 10 or 20% by the end of the day. I guess depending on what you use it for. You know, I'm not a super heavy smartphone user. I don't play a bunch of graphic intensive games. So if you play a lot of games on the 12 mini, or you plan on using 5G, which does hurt your battery life, then yeah, that might be an issue. But that's why I'm so interested in seeing the battery case thing. I think the battery case is very, very crucial for the 12 mini. If it had MagSafe support and you could just slap it on the back and charge it, then that would solve your problem, I think. Whenever I use the 11 Pro Max, I have my pinky finger hold the bottom of my phone. I feel like that's most people. That's like the typical way to hold it. I guess you can hold it without putting your pinky on the bottom, but it's a lot harder to swipe up with gestures and stuff. Let's see. I'm so disgusted that iPad's letterbox when connecting to an external display. That's the only reason I won't buy an Air 4. Huh. Yeah, I mean, I'm not super disgusted, but it is a little distracting, I will admit. I wish it didn't do that. But isn't that partly on the third party? Couldn't third parties technically optimize for that, or is that something only iPadOS can fix? Let's see. What was my favorite design of iPhone Apple has made? Mine is the iPhone 7 and 8 Plus designs. I love that camera, and the overall phones look gorgeous. That's always weird because people always bring up like the iPhone 4 is the best design ever, but I'm like, really? The giant bezels and the I don't know. I'm not that interesting because I always just find the latest design the most interesting one. So, you know, before the 12 came out, this is my favorite design. And now that the 12 is out, that's my favorite design. So I'm not that interesting in that way. I prefer the glass being more clean on the back. I love not having the iPhone text on the back. I like the frosted glass over the glossy glass. I was never a fan of glossy glass. And just having centered Apple logo is more consistent with things like the iPad and the MacBook, putting the logo in the center. Like this looks super clean to me. And then the squared off edge design looks awesome too. So yeah, I'm for the thinnest bezels with the cleanest look. Especially from the back, the iPhone SE looks really, really good because it's so simple. There's like just one camera, one flash, one microphone, one logo, no text. It's just very, very clean. So yeah, I guess one of the 12 Pros is probably my favorite design, just for frosted glass and the boxy look. You should update YouTube on your iPad because now they let you pause via spacebar. Yeah, everyone kept telling me that, and I updated YouTube and it doesn't work. I don't know why mine isn't working. I checked the App Store and I was running the latest version of YouTube, so I'm not sure what the problem is, but for me at least it wasn't working. Maybe it's a staggered release. Yeah, I'm running the latest version of YouTube. Let me see if it's working. I'll try again. Make sure it's muted. I don't want a bunch of noise coming out. Okay, now it's working. Thank God. That took way too long. All right. Well, when everyone was telling me that it had rolled out, it wasn't working for me, which was frustrating. Maybe it was a bug that just needed a restart or something. Feel you are less likely to get robbed if you get an iPhone mini? Is that our concern? Maybe because it's smaller. Huh. Europe Gaming, thank you for the bits. Hello, welcome. I wish they used the iPad Air colors on the 12 and 12 mini. Really? Oh, the more sky blue? Yeah, I'm kind of more of a fan of that lighter sky blue approach. But also, Marquez was saying in his iPad Air 4 video that the colors look a lot more saturated on the website than they do in person, which I'm not a fan of. If the iPad Air 4 is like barely blue in real life, then I'm not about that. I wouldn't buy a blue iPad. If the new iPad Pro comes out in a blue color, I don't think I would get it. Product red, maybe. I would buy a product red iPad Pro, but I don't think that's going to happen. The back of that white SE is beautiful. Yeah, I agree. And I also I know so many people with iPhone SEs now. I helped a few family friends set up their SEs. This is their first iPhone, by the way. I guess they bought it at a right time because it actually came with the charge brick back then. But they're switching from Android. Their old Android phones were like 7 or 8 years old. They were definitely not running the latest version of Android. They were incredibly slow. I had no clue how these people were still. There's a bit of the older demographic. Okay, they're not teenagers, so they probably didn't care that much about their phone. But still, I had no clue how they were still using that phone. I don't even know what one it was. It was some HTC phone from 7 years ago that was barely working. And I helped them switch to the SE, which I think is a perfect phone for them because obviously, looking at their old phone, they're the type of person that is not going to buy new phones all the time, and they don't need a bunch of fancy features. They're just using their phone for texting and basic pictures and stuff. So I was like, okay, iPhone SE is going to be great for you guys because this is going to get software updates for like 6, maybe 7 years, and they were cheap, and you've got the A13 chip, so you got plenty of speeds. So I was like, they were like, is this good? Is the SE good? Do you recommend that? And I was like, oh, yeah, you guys picked a good one. And I got to finally look at the black iPhone SE, which I hadn't seen before because it's an older couple, and the guy got the black one and the girl got the silver or the white one. I forget what they call it. And I finally got to unbox and look at the black SE. I'm sorry I didn't do a video on it, but I was just like, whoa, this is dope. It looked really cool. I like the look. So holding that SE again made me wonder, like, maybe I'll go all blacked out this year. I'll get the black 12 mini and the graphite 12 Pro Max, see which I end up liking more. Why do you think the iPhone 12 Pro has less battery than the 12? I don't know, because that's not what the website says. If I remember correctly, the website is telling me the 12 Pro and 12 have the exact same battery. It's if you're reading somewhere else about some other report saying the 12 Pro has a worse battery, I mean, it could be because the 12 Pro has a slightly brighter display when using typical brightness. Peak brightness, they're the same, but when you're viewing non-HDR content, the 12 Pro can go to 800 nits, whereas the 12 can go to 625. I don't think it's a major difference. You would probably only notice in side-by-side comparisons, but in everyday use, it won't make a big difference. I don't know. Maybe the LiDAR sensor when you're taking pictures and cameras or something. I don't know. Maybe that makes a slight difference, but yeah, I don't think they would have a noticeably different battery life. You think they're removing the charging port next year? I think they're thinking about it, but I don't think a finalized decision has been made. I know there's been talk of them doing that for years. I mean, I think Apple talked about removing the charge port way back in 2017, but decided not to go through with it. So looking at MagSafe now, especially, I'm totally sure they're thinking about it, and they're weighing the pros and cons right now. But I don't think a decision has been made yet, and we probably won't know if a decision has been made until maybe sometime next year, maybe May or June. It'll be a while before we're actually pretty convinced. Like, usually if you start getting a bunch of very reliable leakers all confirming the same thing, I wouldn't just trust one leaker alone, even if a reliable one. If one says something, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. But if you start getting multiple people all saying the same thing, that's when you can start saying, all right, it's looking pretty likely. But I haven't seen that yet, so I think they're thinking about it, but it's still up for debate internally at Apple, because they don't have to come up with a finalized design until the summertime, and they've got quite a few months before that. You know, they got all of this year, and then they've got the first half of next year to decide whether or not it's a good idea. Randy's asking if he should get an iPhone or a Pixel. A Pixel, Randy, obviously. I don't know why you're wasting your time with the iPhone. You need to buy the Pixel 5. You would love that thing, just like you loved the Pixel 3 XL. Who's the most reliable leaker? Probably CoinX, but also Kang. Kang might be CoinX reincarnated because CoinX hasn't talked much recently. He's just kind of, he tweeted super accurate stuff. The one time he was wrong was when he was more vague, which I mean is arguably wrong. He said there's always one more thing, but he didn't say there would be a one more thing. He was kind of vague, so that threw people off a little bit, but CoinX has never tweeted a specific leak, and then that specific leak ended up being inaccurate, which is why I would say if CoinX tweeted something, I would say it's pretty... If he tweets something that's very precise, it's very likely to happen. But these days, Kang, oh my God, his leak drop right before iPhone 12 event, holy crap, it was spot on. He got so much right. He was the one talking about... there was some stuff that was lost in translation, like the 5X and the 4X optical zoom. But like he got the delivery windows almost correct. He got the names and the sizes and the obviously no 120 hertz. But he also got the MagSafe name down. I think he was the only person reporting on that Apple would bring back the term MagSafe and that they would also release MagSafe Duo, which likely is why he's someone in marketing. He probably was able to see the event or see the slides from the event beforehand. That's true. King doesn't report a bunch of stuff high in advance. Yeah, he also called the graphite. That's true. But that probably could have been easily predicted from the Apple Watch being rebranded to graphite. Yes, I think CoinX is Shrek. That's confirmed. Thank you, Scott. Let's see. If they remove the charge port, then everyone will be forced to get AirPods. No. I hate how people always jump to that. If they remove this, that will force everyone to do it. No, because lots of people already either have headphones. Even my dad. Even my dad, who's not really that much of a diehard tech user. He still uses a 6S Plus. And, next month he's going to buy my 11 Pro Max off me. And I was like, so Dad, this new phone you're getting won't have the headphone jack. So do you have old headphones? Like, do you need an adapter or something? And he said, I have wireless headphones. I never use the headphone jack on my phone. And I was like, oh, good. Then don't worry about it. So he's not even that techie of a person. Like, wireless headphones have gotten incredibly cheap. Something came out recently under the Beats branding that went unnoticed because they didn't even talk about it at the Apple event. But let me see if I can find it on the website really quick. They came out with new wireless headphones that have the W1 chip, so the pop-up pairing method, and they're like $50. I was reading about them, and I was like, how does no one know about it? Beats Flex. They're right here. They're on the front page. If you go to the Beats section on Apple's website, $50. They kind of look like the old Beats X headphones, so they're not totally wireless, but they are like they don't require a headphone jack. You still charge them. But they've got the cable connecting the two, and then you charge them with these little side pillars. $50 with W1 chip pairing, and I read someone who did a review of them, and he said they sounded pretty decent for $50. Not bad at all. So not everyone is forced to get AirPods because most people, if they care about music, they probably have headphones already. And as Apple said in their event, most people are not using the included Lightning headphones. There's a reason for that. The reason they're not looking or using the included headphones is because they probably already have a pair that they care about. And AirPods have also been selling incredibly well. So I feel like if you care about AirPods, you probably already have them. And if you want wireless, you probably have already made the switch. But I don't think most audio is moving towards the Lightning port. I don't think that's what happened. I think it's probably like 90% Bluetooth headphones and maybe 10% people using the Lightning port for audio. Yes, the 12 Pro is coming tomorrow, as the title suggests. Yes. As Randy is confirming, Tailosive Leaks has not got one tweet wrong so far. That's true. If Tailosive Leaks tweets something, you know it's correct. We've got 100% accuracy so far, which is pretty great. Let's see. I didn't really feel comfortable wearing wireless headphones that come with an Urkel strap. Okay. Well, you don't have to get those in particular. I'm just saying people aren't forced to buy AirPods if they don't include headphones. Just like they're not forced to buy AirPods now, even though the iPhone 12 doesn't include headphones. My dad has wireless headphones, so he never noticed no headphone jack. Well, there you go. I feel like most people didn't, at least in my personal life. I know several people that have upgraded to iPhones without headphone jacks, and they never noticed. Believe it or not, there's a lot of people that don't listen to music on their phone. I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. I can think of 5 to 10 people in my life, like the people I just helped set up their iPhones because they had never used iPhones before, and they were coming from Android. They did not put any music on their phone. So, let's see. Do you have any Android phones at hand? That's it. That's my only one. It was a gift, and it was free, so that's why I have it. If this cost me $1, I wouldn't have kept it. But yeah, I use it for work stuff. It's not great. I mean, I did my review of it. You can go back and watch it. I got $40 wireless Skull Candy headphones in 2015 that sound great and still do to this day and have great battery life and Bluetooth, and the only reason I switched was because I got free AirPods with my MacBook. Otherwise, I would have happily kept using them. Yeah, I feel like the whole headphone jack argument's kind of dead by now. It's like wireless has gotten as cheap and as good as basically most wired headphones. And if you insist on using your old wired headphones, then you're probably not buying the latest iPhone. So it was a gift from Mint Mobile. Same as the iPhone SE my wife is using. Not a sponsor. They said, hey, we loved your video. Can we send you some, thank you packages? And they sent me a box with some merch in it with some Mint Mobile socks, and then later asked if I wanted some free phones. And no contract. I made sure. I emailed them. I was like, you guys know you're not getting anything out of this, right? Like, I'm not going to make more videos about you just because you send me things. And they're like, no, we know. It's just a thank you. Yeah, there was a T-shirt. There was a mug. There were some socks. There was actually Mint gum. So Mint Mobile has like their own type of gum you can buy. And they sent me a box. I'm looking at it right now. It's the box that's holding my... I can flip the camera around real second. I use it for storage now. There's nothing in it. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold on, camera. Here it is. It's very old. Now it's being used for old tech, so I've got old iPads and iPhones in here, but this is what I prop my iPhone on. Sorry, not my iPhone. My Blackmagic camera. I bumped some button. I messed it up. But yeah, it came in a cool package. So there you go. Now you know. Now you know what it looks like. All right. Let me make sure I can get this back in focus. There we go. All right, cool. Sorry what I did to the mic. Anything Ryan Reynolds owns, I want. Well, you're not that big a Ryan Reynolds fan, Randy, because you haven't made the switch to Mint. Maybe he would call you more. Maybe he would call you more if you switch to Mint Mobile, because he calls me sometimes. Whose handwriting was that on the box? Very neat. Obviously, Louise's. It's not my handwriting. You guys couldn't read my handwriting. You will after we move. Oh, okay. So it's been decided. You're that close. XR at $500 is easily one of the best value phones right now. It's still great. Yeah, I agree. I think XR and 11 might do pretty well. The mic is clipping now. Oh, that's what happened. I put the camera. Sorry about that. I put the camera on top of the microphone, and it turned up the volume. It's not broken. I just turned up the mixer. Sorry. Should be fine now. This is what it was beforehand. Deep fried stream. I don't even know how I did that. I picked up the camera and the tripod pushed the dial forward just a little bit. Yeah, the iPhone XR is a great deal. I would recommend that to a lot of people. Let's see. You should do an update on talks about Mint once you use it for a bit with the iPhone 12. Yeah, I mean, eventually I might do an updated video, but I want a lot of time to go by, maybe a year or two before I do like a Mint Mobile update vlog or something like that. I don't know. But it'll probably be more interesting once I have a 5G iPhone to let you know if I notice any difference with 5G. So far, I doubt I will. I doubt there's any 5G in my area in the first place, but yes, 5G is included on every single Mint plan by default. It's not millimeter wave 5G, but guess what? Even Verizon customers aren't getting millimeter wave 5G because you have to find the right square foot and make sure that Jupiter and Saturn are in the right orientation. And it also nukes your battery life anyway, so who cares? Make sure you turn off smart data mode. I'm not worried about that. I'm barely using data at all right now. I'm going to be on Wi-Fi all the time. I don't know why it's so difficult. Actually, I will say that Mint Mobile has the best 5G commercial I ever watched. If you go to Ryan Reynolds' channel and watch his explaining 5G video, I thought it was hilarious. And I hate 5G. I think 5G is stupid, and I hate 5G commercials. But Ryan Reynolds was pretty great. I did enjoy his. So, credit where credit is due. 5G is stupid. I agree. It's not necessary. In your video, when you said ideal conditions was climbing the cell tower, it is. I've not seen one person come anywhere close to the speeds they talked about on stage, which I think is borderline scam. Not borderline, that is a scam. Sometimes they may say, they might take pictures or videos on the iPhone that are kind of hard to achieve yourself, but it's still somewhat possible, like it's legal scamming. Yeah, that's what it is. Like, when you take a picture at night mode, the pictures on the website look legit. I was like, yeah, that looks like it's shot on an iPhone. But when they say that under ideal conditions, you're going to get 4 gigabits per second down, you're not even going to get a quarter of that. That's what annoys me. Is like, sure, sometimes companies will exaggerate things to benefit their product. The picture of the McDonald's burger is never actually, the burger will never look like that. What also really bugs me is fast food restaurants that always showcase their burger with a glass drink. And for a fact they don't have glasses at any restaurant. They always like, here's our burger, here's our fries, and then you can get a Pepsi or a Sprite, and here's the glass with the soda in it. They don't have glasses there. It's all plastic wax cups whenever you show up. They don't offer glasses. It would be cool if they did, but they don't. So they stretch the truth a little bit. They make the burger look a little bit nicer. Same with iPhones. They may take some videos or pictures that are kind of hard to achieve on your own. But the 5G advertisements are way off. They're promising like 10 times what the actual expected results are, which is why I think it's a scam, is because they're betting basically on people not knowing what they're doing. The average consumer is just going to watch the Chris Rock ad and be like, oh, hey, Chris Rock said I can download an album in seconds. And again, if you're climbing the cell tower, yeah, maybe. But majority of 5G everyone's going to use is never going to be able to download that fast, but they see it in the commercial and they're like, oh, dude, it downloads fast. So cool. I'll get the iPhone 12 and then it'll do that wherever I go. It'll download at gigabit speed. And it's like, no. First of all, yeah, we're not downloading albums anymore. If we had decent LTE, we wouldn't need to download anything. We can just stream everything wherever we are. I just feel like I'm slightly out of focus. So I'm trying to correct it. Yeah, that looks a little better. Thank you. So I just find that more of an insane exaggeration, which is what frustrates me the most about 5G. It's not even necessarily the technology I'm not mad about, because it is faster. I'll admit that, but they just keep acting like it's monumentally faster. They treat it like it's 10 times faster. In reality, it's maybe 2 times faster, which is fine, I guess, but don't act like Steve Jobs is coming out of the grave just because we're getting 40 megabits per second instead of 20, which is what the majority of 5G is. It's just an easy way to breeze through your data even faster. Yeah. And Verizon gets to upcharge people. 100 bits from Chris Norton. Thank you very much. He said he loves his Beats Studio headphones. That's good. I'm glad you enjoy those. 5G is like a smart coffee pot. Like, sure, it's cool to control the coffee pot with your phone, but the button works too. I guess it's kind of like that, but I don't know. It's useless for most people. Yeah, that's how I would advertise it. It makes very, very little difference, and I don't trust the carriers to make it better with time because they're going to be pushing 6G before they make 5G widespread and available everywhere. Especially when, weren't they advertising with 5G? Like, this will be really, really good for autonomous driving because then all the cars can communicate with each other. It's like, if we had 5G all over the place to the point where all cars could be connected to 5G, then we wouldn't be downloading anything. We wouldn't download albums. We wouldn't download movies in seconds, and yet that's like half of the ads right now. I feel like a little kid being forced to eat broccoli. I'm like, can I be done now? Can I be done? I had some 5G. I had it. Okay, I took the 5G. Stop throwing it at me. Oh, I'm sick of it. I hear it's even worse overseas. In the UK, we have like 0 5G because of the whole Huawei thing, so only 2 providers. I just got my 12 Pro on a 4G carrier for 10 GBP a month cheaper. Yeah, that's good. I've on the record said, if there were 2 iPhones, exact same price, one was 5G, one was non-4G, I would probably get the non-5G one, especially if I could get rid of that little cutout beneath the power button. If I could eliminate that and just not have millimeter wave, I would do it. Basically, import a iPhone from France. Import an iPhone from the EU. I'll take that one if it's the same price. They're solving a huge issue. I've never had any problem with internet speed. Usually the problem is not enough coverage. Yes, exactly. Anytime we've had an issue with 4G, it's because it's not very good coverage. It's not because the 4G tower is incapable of supplying faster speeds. So I agree. Very much. How would a case affect that? Yeah, I'm not sure. It's annoying because they need to tell you to buy a 5G phone, but then you need to get the 5G plan, and then you need this specific one to get millimeter wave. Well, that's what Verizon's doing, which I find very annoying because Verizon, took up a lot of stage time. Mint Mobile's not doing that, which I appreciate, and I don't think T-Mobile is either. They just include 5G for everybody, no additional charge, which is, I guess it's a little bit better, but at the same time, though, it's not noticeably better 5G because some of the speeds I've seen with T-Mobile 5G are slower than Verizon's 4G, which contributes to my annoyance and frustration of this whole 5G is not a very specific term anymore. You can actually have a 5G connection that's slower than 4G. That has been documented. That has been tested. There are places where 5G is slower than 4G, and I'm like, what is the point? Is it literally just branding at this point? It's literally just, but it's 5G. Anyway, Verizon changes their data plans every second, so it's hard to keep up with them. That's true. I know this hashtag not my 5G. When they first rolled out 5G and tried to get people excited for it, it was all about gigabit speeds, but now it sounds like 90% of the 5G we utilize is just slightly better 4G, a little bit faster. Let's see what Yavraz is saying. 5G in Israel is also stupid. There was a commercial where kids are not in color, and then a dude walks in and he is in color and shows the kids how life is with 5G. It's so stupid. They have flying cars and virtual reality gaming and hologram. Like 5G will fix every problem we can imagine. Political controversy. 5G solves the problem. You're seeing life in black and white. If you had 5G, everything will be in color. You have cancer? Try 5G. It'll fix you. Not able to pass the SAT test? Not passing your driving test? Unable to graduate high school? 5G enters the picture. It's like one of those memes of like society if we all had 5G and everything's just, beautiful and utopia. Everything becomes perfect. Before 5G, all we had was video pong. 5G, it's Fortnite. VR headsets are too big and bulky. 5G, the future is here. I like how that really does not solve anything with VR at all. You're not going to use VR outside because you would run into trees and stuff. So no, 5G and VR do not belong together in any type of way. If we're talking augmented reality, maybe, but the speeds again are not groundbreaking change. 5G will be fighting coronavirus for 2020 word of the year. I think so. Instead of how it feels to chew 5-gum, it's how it feels to use 5G. Except it's that guy doing the backflip and then landing on his crotch on the fence. How it feels to use 5G. Oh! Stimulate your senses. I'm a medical student in the UK, and our first lecture was on psoriasis. Ooh. Something that impacts me, but I know very little about. I can't watch it because I'll get copyright striked, but I'll thank you for the link. I'll check it out eventually. That's probably a lie. I might never watch it. I just like the idea of it. Thank you for the bits. Very complex. Cellular iPod Touch for $250/$300 as an ultra budget iPhone. No, Yusuf, come on. iPod Touch is going to get discontinued any day now. The iPhone SE is your budget iPhone. If that's not budget enough for you, then you're just going to get an iPhone 7 or something on discount. I still have the recording on my computer here, though.
Hey, we're bringing 5G. 5G, 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 5G,
5G, 5G, 5G. Oh my god. That cracks me up every time I watch it. Oh my god. 5G, 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 5G. It gets so hilarious. I'm hoping that's the thing. 5G has been around for years, but they keep acting like it just came out. Like, how long are they really planning on capitalizing off this term? It's been around for 3 years now. We've had 5G phones, and yet they're still acting like it just rolled out. 5G just got real, Samsung. Am I a joke to you? People will be saying iPhones are too overpriced. Meanwhile, in 2020, Samsung flagships are already more expensive. Generally speaking, phones have been getting cheaper. You know, in the 80s, a cell phone was like several $1,000s. It was like $3,000 or $4,000. And now phones do a lot more and rarely are over $1,000. There are a lot, there are some phones that are over $1,000, but those aren't the best sellers. Most of the best-selling phones in general are $800 or less. Phones got cheaper, then got more expensive again. Well, they're doing so much more than they used to do. That's mainly why. But at the same time, you have economies of scale there to a certain extent. 5G in 2017. Wow, 1 gigabit everywhere. 5G in 2020. It's 4G, but newer. Same speeds as 4G, but better this time. How long is the stream? I want to watch it, but I also want to go to sleep. You can go to sleep. You'll be able to watch it after the fact. I'm only going to be live for another 5 minutes or so. Did you see the plastic thing they placed on the space of the third camera on the iPhone 12 regular? It's just a freaking piece of useless plastic. Have you heard about it? Yeah, I read about that, but I don't understand why people are frustrated. Like, what would you rather have there? Like, they decided, I guarantee you that tiny piece of plastic they put there is cheaper than a telephoto lens, and it's cheaper than LiDAR, and they want the iPhone 12 to be cheaper. Like, would you rather it be empty and just empty space? I don't know if that would make the structural integrity of the device better. I mean, I'm no expert on teardowns or anything, but they're the same size phones, but they wanted one to have more features than the other. But they want to use the same parts, obviously. They want to use they're using the exact same ultra-wide and standard cameras as the 12 Pro, but they don't need the telephoto, so you got to put something there to just hold everything in place. If you leave it empty, it makes things on the inside a bit more fragile, less things to hang on to. I don't get why it's a big deal. I doubt the plastic is very expensive. It probably costs them next to nothing to put that in there just for structural sake. But I don't know. I'm no expert on smartphone design, so maybe I'm missing something. But I don't get why people are frustrated by that. The phone is cheaper, so they're gonna have some empty spaces in there. Like to have a bigger battery? For one, it probably costs more, and it was probably easier for them to have the same size battery on the 12 and 12 Pro, just through scale. It would have been way more complicated supply chain-wise. And I don't think the space around the camera is space that could have been battery. The battery has to be mapped out in a certain way around the cameras and the logic board. It's not like they can stretch out the battery on top of where the telephoto lens should have been. Like they don't build batteries that way. They have to stick to a very basic rectangle that I don't think removing the telephoto lens would have allowed you to just somehow make the battery bigger. I don't think it's that simple. I'm getting my 12 Pro tomorrow. Let's go. Congrats, Rewind DTV. Let's get some answers in the chat. How many people are getting iPad Air 4 or iPhone 12 tomorrow? Let me know in the chat. How many people are not getting anything tomorrow? Will we get an SE3 next year? Probably not. Ross Young is saying no. Maybe 2022 we might, but Adam Anders says baseline iPhone 12. Surf Jesus says nothing. You think iPhone mini would be a yearly thing? Yeah, I think it'll be a norm. I think they'll keep making mini iPhones. iPhone 12 Pro tomorrow for wife, November for me and the Max. Gotcha. 12 Pro Graphite coming tomorrow, says DJ. iPhone 12 for Super Saran Man. My wife and I are both getting the blue 12, says Watson 930. My 12 tomorrow, but I might return for a mini, says Matthew. S. Thurg says getting the Pro Max in November. Von Z001 says iPhone 12 Pro Pacific Blue tomorrow. You and me both, Vons. That's the both of us. Yahavraz says 12 Pro Max in November. Can't wait. Yoshi says Pro Max end of November. James says getting nothing tomorrow, but got a MacBook Pro 2020 last week. Hey, there you go. Someone's not waiting for Apple Silicon, I guess. iPad Air 4 Silver coming to Katrina Bryce tomorrow. Congratulations. 12 Pro for a lot of people, I guess. Wow. I think I read that somewhere that the 12 Pro demand was higher than they expected, but pre-orders were very, very high, according to Quo. He said they were over double iPhone 11 orders of last year. So I'm going to bring it up because I get a lot of stuff wrong, but I did say the iPhone 12 would be a supercycle. And now it's starting to look that way. It might be a supercycle. This could be a huge upgrade. I think a lot of people are going to update. And for the record, I don't think it's for 5G. That's not the reason. I think people see the new design, and it's very noticeably different from previous iPhones, and it has very noticeable upgrades when it comes to the form factor, the chassis, the OLED, the thinner bezels, and they're seeing all that. Maybe 5G, they're just like, oh, cool, I get 5G, whatever. But I don't think that's the driving force. I think it's mainly the design that's driving sales. Obviously, most people are getting the 12. But Quo said something like 1.5 to 2 million pre-orders in the first 24 hours. I think that's insanity. And that's only half of the iPhone lineup. Like last year, all the iPhone 11s went up for pre-order at the same time. 11 Pro, 11 Pro Max, and the iPhone 11. We're all up at the same time, and now just with 2 iPhones, half of them, they were able to do more than double last year. It's amazing. When do you think the November event will happen? It's almost always on a Tuesday, so a lot of people were thinking the 10th, but then they would have to announce it a week before, which is Election Day, which we talked about, so probably not. I could see it being the 3rd Tuesday, which would be the 17th. Which I'll be out of town on the 10th, so I'm hoping it's the 17th. I'll be back from my trip on the 17th, so here's hoping to November 17th. That would be nice. I'm getting the iPhone 12, and the first thing I'm going to do is disable 5G. There you go. I'm upgrading because I have a 7 Plus and because the cameras on the Pro Max are great, as well as the chip and design, not for 5G. There you go, Recordium. Don't upgrade for 5G, people. It's not worth it. If that's all you're interested in, it's not going to make a big difference. Getting green iPhone 12 tomorrow and a black mini tomorrow upgrading from my 7 Plus. Do you mean the HomePod Mini? No, that's not available. Neither is the 12 Mini, though. If you can't use 5G, there isn't a reason to disable it. If you are in an area with it, you will reap the benefits. Yeah, I don't think you'll have 5G turned on if you're not in an area with it anyway. Keopsis, thank you for the Twitch Prime. I dedicate this 4-month anniversary message to Drew's retiring of that old wireless charger. Thank you, Keopsis. Yeah, it's been added to the bag. I'll be giving a bunch of wireless chargers to my father since he's getting wireless charging for the first time next month. So, Awesome 5172 says, should I upgrade from my 5C? 5C. You know, normally I would say if your old phone is working, don't upgrade. But my God, if you're still using the 5C, please, for the love of God, upgrade. Get the 12 mini next month. The size won't be that different, and you'll thank me later. What is the MagSafe like with older iPhones? It's not really. It's basically just a normal wireless charger. It's not magnetically attached, although it does somewhat attach, just a little bit. But not much, just barely. Not enough to really keep the charger on there. So it does behave like a normal Qi charger, but it's at 7.5 watts, whereas if you have a MagSafe equipped, iPhone 12, it'll be 15 watt, but you will be ordering the Mini. Well, you can't order the Mini tomorrow, but good luck. Just got tracking info. My phone is coming through UPS. We're always last on the route. I was hoping for FedEx. Uh-oh. Who am I on? Let me check real quick. Uh-oh, I think I'm on UPS as well. Mine usually come a bit later in the day, so it's possible that I will get my iPhone as we're recording the next tech podcast, because we're recording that tomorrow. Let's see. It charges the AirPods, and me likes it. Yeah, it does charge the AirPods, which I like. That's cool. Yeah, it's a normal Qi charger. You can charge anything with wireless charging with MagSafe. What other cases have microfiber lining other than Apple? I'm sure some other ones do. I just don't know that many third-party cases off the top of my head. If we see you leave, we will know. Oh, yeah. It'll probably be in the title of the podcast, too, because those are pre-recorded. So I'll get up in the middle of recording and be like, 1 second, guys, and then I'll go out. Where I am, you can't track UPS drivers. It's not available for everyone, sadly, but yeah. So I don't get to track the delivery truck. Is the Pro version also selling better than the normal 12 in the U.S., or is it just the case in Dubai? It's not the case anywhere. Just because the shipping dates are slipping doesn't necessarily mean there's more demand. It's most likely because Apple internally expected the regular 12 to sell best, so they had a larger supply. There were probably... there's no doubt in my mind about that. They probably built 5 iPhone 12s for every one 12 Pro. And obviously, the people who pre-order iPhones are more likely to be the techie people who do care about getting the best iPhone and the more pro-oriented one. So that's why, at the beginning at least, you might see a little bit of inflated demand for the 12 Pro. But I'm guessing they built the 12 Pro in very, very limited quantities because they weren't expecting that many people to order it, which means that when there are a bunch of pre-orders, you will see the 12 Pro shipping date slip a lot faster. But that's just because there's much more supply for the 12. So I have no doubt that's the situation. There's definitely more people buying the cheaper 12. For sure. There's no way that many people care about telephoto and LiDAR. I'm sorry. It's not. Especially looking at the last few years of iPhone sales, seeing the 11 and the 10R sell so well. The 12 Pro is not higher in demand. How much do I think the 12 mini will sell? I think there's a chance. I'm not saying with 100% certainty, but I think there's a chance the 12 mini could outsell the 12. Obviously, the 12 is coming out first, so it'll have a little bit of an advantage, but $100 cheaper, and it's a small form factor, which I think a lot of people like, and they'll feel more comfortable with, and there will be a lot of people upgrading this year who are coming from older iPhones like the 5 or the SE first generation, and they're used to that smaller form factor, and they don't want a big iPhone, so the mini is going to be perfect for them, and they get all the great camera and display features of the 12 and save themselves $100. So I think there's a chance 12 mini will be a bestseller. Though a lot of analysts disagree. I've seen a lot of people say, no, people want the 6-inch form factor. But it'll be very interesting because, the 6-inch iPhone has been selling the best for the past couple of years. But that was because it was the cheapest. And before, when you had the 7 Plus outselling the 7, it was because it had a bunch of camera exclusives like portrait mode and the telephoto lens. But now there's no camera exclusives on the 12 over the 12 mini. So they have the same camera, and they're both OLED displays. It's really just a difference of size and price. So now we're going to find out if price matters to people more than form factor. So I think a lot of people will go for the mini. I mean, maybe not at first, obviously, because you can't get the mini yet, but that's my guess. That's my out on a limb guess. I think that both the 12 and 12 mini will sell really, really well, but 12 mini will be like just a little bit in the lead. I don't think people here are getting the Pro for the camera. Status is really important here among the young, so many might go for the Pro just for the status. I know there are some people like that. I just don't think most people are like that are just buying stainless steel for the sake of it being more expensive. I mean, some people are like that, but I just don't believe that's the majority of iPhone buyers. I have a Galaxy S10e. Any point of getting MagSafe because I don't want to get a Samsung wireless charger because they're more expensive? I mean, it's kind of pointless. I mean, for $40, you can probably get a way better wireless charger than MagSafe that will, I don't know, charge fast and be more vertical. This is not really much of a wireless charger as much as it is a portless charger because, it's very tiny. And it's okay that it's tiny if it magnetically slaps on the back, but if it doesn't for you, it's not. I don't know if I would buy this just for my old iPhone. iPhone mini is cute. I agree. But I got to get going, guys. Either way, I appreciate all of the donations and the Twitch Primes. Very much appreciated. I will be doing a live unboxing tomorrow on YouTube, not Twitch. So stay tuned for that, obviously, and we can finally open this bad boy up, and I can try it out myself. And hopefully you guys all enjoy your deliveries as well. And hope you have an excellent rest of your day. Take care. Try to get some sleep tonight, too. All right? That's important. That was creepy. I apologize. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.